Hi guys, my name is Christine and I'm a dating, relationship and personal development coach. Today I'm talking about how important is it to make an emotional connection before you ask them out, okay? So I don't think it's that important at all, okay? Because, if you think of like dating websites and like things like dating apps like Tinder and stuff, you don't really need that much of a connection to find someone attractive and to go out with them, right? So it's not really that important at all, okay? Because the idea is that you create that bond in a romantic setting like a date. You get to know them on the date. You get to know them romantically in the date, right? So when you find someone attractive, it's better to just get everything out of the way and to just ask them out. Don't try and be their friend first or to get to know them first, okay? Because the longer you wait, the quicker you're going to get into friend zone, okay? So if you find someone really attractive and you'd really love to get to know them better, you go up to them and ask them when they're available. Ask them, say to them, you might say something like, hey, you know what, this is a bit random. This may seem a little bit out of the blue, but I actually think you're really cute. When are you available to go out? When are you next available? And then if they like you as well and they find you attractive, they'll tell you when they're available and then you can arrange a date with them, right? So it's not that important at all that you create an emotional connection straight away, okay? Because usually within the first few minutes of meeting someone new, that you'll be able to tell basically if you would like to date them, and they would be able to tell if they would like to date you. Attraction isn't a choice. And that's a quote by David D'Angelo, and I highly recommend that you watch his video on attraction isn't a choice to fully understand this, right? But when someone meets you for the first time, within like the first couple of minutes, they'll be able to decide whether or not they like you enough to date you if they think that you're attractive, okay? And if you ask them out and you're fast, basically, and you ask them out as soon as possible, they will like the fact that you were bold and that you were brave enough to do that sort of thing, that you were authentic, that you weren't being, you weren't beating around the bush and trying to be their friend first, being inauthentic, basically. Because that's what it comes across, right? That's how it comes across. If you are trying to get to know someone, and you're trying to be their friend first because you're afraid of being rejected by them, so you're trying to like test the waters basically, because you're like, oh, I don't know if they like me, so I'm just gonna like be their friend first and then find out more about them, and maybe they'll start to warm up to me and hopefully they'll ask me out before I ask them out, so I don't have to do it, right? When you're being inauthentic because you are really attracted to them, you want to ask them out, you want to be in a relationship with them, you want to be getting all cozy and romantic with them, right? So if you start being a friend first, you're coming across inauthentic, right? Because you're really attracted to them and you're hiding your attraction as if it's some shameful thing, which it isn't. If you're attracted to someone, it's not shameful at all. You go and you say, hey, I think you're amazing. I think you look absolutely wonderful. I think you look cute. I think you look amazing. I think you look handsome. I would really love to get to know you better. When are you available? What next evening are you free to hang out, right? That's what you do. That's you being authentic. If you think someone is amazing, and you like the way that they look and you think they're attractive, and they've just got that special something that attracts you to someone, then ask them out. Be authentic. Be real, okay? And even if it goes wrong, even if they reject you, right, at least you could light them up, right? At least you could compliment them, right? And they will probably like the fact that you had the courage and the bravery to come up to them and be authentic and be real with them and say, hey, I think you're amazing. I think you look absolutely wonderful. Well, I'd love to take you out. When are you available? If you say it like that, if you do it like that, even if they're married or they're not available, or even if they're not interested, they will like the fact, they will respect the fact that you were authentic from the get-go, okay? And if they do like you, then that's great. They will, they'll probably look at you, think you're attractive, and they will say, yeah, I'm available on Saturday evening. And then you arrange a time and a place together, right? You say, okay, great. How about we meet at this restaurant at this time, right? And then you get together, okay? Because attraction happens instantly. So that's why it's not so important that you create an emotional connection first. the most important connection that you can have with someone romantic is at the beginning, is a physical attraction. If they're physically attracted to you and they're single, they're going to say yes to going out with you, okay? It doesn't matter so much if you click straight away. You will get to do that when you're on a date with them, okay? So obviously, as time goes on and time progresses, having an emotional connection is important. Being on the same wavelength, being able to have a good companionship with them is important. But attraction always comes first, okay? Sometimes attraction, though, can build slowly over time, but generally those relationships are a little bit less, I'm going to use some weird words now, but they're a little bit less divinely orchestrated, right? And because usually it's very rare, right, when you get an attraction for someone and it happens instantly, right? And it's usually in those relationships, if they go well, obviously, that you have the best relationships, right? It's those ones where it's sort of like your eyes meet across a room or something like that, and they have that instant attraction. You know, it's those really rare cases only every so once in a while, and they're very rare, right? And they're usually the best relationships. They're usually the best ones. They're usually the most fiery, most romantic, and the ones that can really feel really, really special, right? When you have that instant connection. And sometimes that does happen. The relationships that sort of like develop over time, let's say that you're friends first and then it develops over time, those can be good as well. But there's something special about those ones that, you know, happen very, very instantly. Very, you know, it's just a different realm. Right, it's just a different sort of thing. I'm not saying that those relationships won't last the long term. You know, the ones where it started out as friendship and the feelings developed or whatever wherever happened to be. But they're not. There's just something different about the ones where you're instantly attracted to each other. Another thing is that if you are trying to be friends first, trying to get that emotional connection first, sometimes by doing that you're giving out the friendship vibe, right? So someone that may have been really attracted to you, you know, but you didn't do anything, basically, you didn't ask them out because you were too afraid and you were too busy like trying to, you know, beat around the bush, trying to be their friend first or hoping that they would ask you out first. You know, sometimes that person can lose attraction for you because they can tell that you're not being authentic with how you truly feel about them. Or the fact that you're now giving them the friendship vibe by being chatty and friendship-like to them. And if they're seeing you as like, oh, this person just wants to be my friend, they'll lose attraction for you and they'll start searching for someone else because they're like, oh, I thought this person was it, but they're not because they're just giving me this friendship vibe. They're just chatting to me. They're just talking to me. They're not asking me out. They're not being flirtatious. They're not being romantic with me in any way. They're not asking me out. So obviously maybe they're not interested, or maybe it puts them off by the fact that you haven't asked them out and you haven't been direct and courageous. You know, maybe they're hoping, oh yes, this person could be the one for me, you know, and then you just try and act like their friend, and then they're like, oh, I was hoping that they were going to be, you know, I was hoping they was going to ask me out, you know, and it makes them lose that attraction for you, right? Because they were hoping that you were going to be the leader and you were going to be decisive. This dynamic usually happens with male and females, right? So and in heterosexual type situations. So the woman is very feminine and she's a little bit unsure, doesn't really want to ask the guy out. So she's hoping that this handsome man that's just came up to her is going to ask her out because there's attraction there, they both can feel it, but then he starts acting like a friend and being unsure of himself, and that puts her off, right? Because she wants someone who's a bit more of a leader, who's more decisive, you know, a guy that really goes for what he wants and is authentic. But he started off by not being authentic. He started off by being pally and friendly rather than being, you know, speaking his truth and saying, hey, I'm interested in you. Let's go out, right? So that's something that happens. So you don't want to be giving off the friendship vibe to someone that could be really attracted to you. Okay, so that's why it's important that you ask them out. As soon as you feel that attraction, as soon as you feel that pull, right, you go for it, right? Because the longer you wait around, the faster you will slip into friend zone, okay? And also, if you just sort of wait around in the wings, you know, you kind of just being their friend first, you're wasting a lot of time. And at this point, you don't know if they're attracted to you either. So you're wasting a lot of time being friends with someone, hoping that you're going to switch it into a romantic thing. Whereas at this current time, you don't know if it will change into something romantic because you don't know where you stand with the other person. So one of the benefits of asking someone out straight away when you find them attractive is that you don't waste time. You find out where you stand instantly. Right, and that's what you want to do because you don't want to be wasting your time, and we only live once, and you don't want to be wasting months being friends with someone hoping that you're going to be able to get in their underwear only to find out that they're actually not interested in you and they only see you as a friend. Okay, so that's my thoughts on that. So how important is it to make an emotional connection before you ask them out? Not that important. Just go for it. Ask them out. Okay, thank you so much for watching, and if you would like to get in touch with me personally and you would like coaching with me, then please go to www.christineloveridge.com, and if there's anything you would like me to discuss in a future video, then please leave it down in the comments. Thank you, and I'll talk to you again very soon. Goodbye.